Hi, it's JP Morgan.
And this is Lars Lindstrom.
And it's time for Trends from the Trenches in the month of...
I don't think it's Trends from the Trenches.
Dang.
Photo video trends in the month of November.
Nothing says Thanksgiving like a bunch of wart-covered hordes. Gourds. Hordes? Gourds.
Hordes. It's a good thing this isn't a live show.
So June of 2017, Julian and I are headed to Australia. We're going to the Vivid Light Show, which is a fabulous experience where they project lights over the buildings of Sydney, Australia. People come from all over the world to see that. Then we're trying to decide what we do next, whether we go to the Great Barrier Reef or we go to Uluru. So go to theslantlens.com and help us decide. Where do you want to go? Great Barrier Reef or Uluru? Hi, this is JP Morgan.
This is Lars Lindstrom. Welcome.
And it's time for...
So happy you're here.
time for Photo Video Trends. And it's November.
It is.
Time for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are we thankful for this year?
I'm just thankful we're still on air.
I'm thankful the sun came up this morning.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I didn't think it would for a minute.
Yeah, it was doubtful there for a moment.
It was.
But
it did.
At about 12:30 last night, it was pretty doubtful.
I had a moment to reflect on the things that I'm thankful for, and JP, you're one of them.
I appreciate that. And I feel the same way about you, Lars.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Let's start the show.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
So what's going on in the world of photo video?
Let's talk about a disaster first.
Oh, yeah. Biggest disaster of all time.
It's a little sad.
Second in a row.
Yeah, it's bad news for GoPro.
Bad news for GoPro.
So the Karma, the drone that was kind of head-to-head with the DJI Mavic, yeah, they recalled all their Karmas.
Well, the stuff on YouTube and out there, all the
Bad.
reviews are saying this drone is just falling apart. It's,
Right.
It's not built well.
And
It's not functioning.
The biggest issue is that a lot of them had issues where it just shut off in the middle of flight. Which is
like a
not
stone,
a good
like
thing
a stone.
with a drone. You don't want drones shutting off in the middle of flight.
Here we are over the 110 freeway in rush hour traffic.
Right.
Crash.
Not even just a...
like a stone.
Yeah, so that's bad news.
Bad news for them. This is the disaster they had with the camera that they released. It was overpriced,
Yes.
and I can't even remember all the issues.
Well, I think what happened is they're trying to stay relevant, trying to open enough doors to get more hold of the market share. DJI is killing it in the drone market, and they're selling tons and tons of drones. So they knew that there was going to be a new release from DJI, so they rushed this thing out the door.
So it's bad news.
And that's bad news. So anyway, it's
who's ever going to trust them again? They come back and they say, okay, we've new and improved.
Yeah.
They're not going to trust that.
Until you get another review and someone goes, yeah, this is great. It's a great experience.
Will they come back, do you think?
I think so, but in the meantime, Mavic's just flying off the shelves.
Oh.
So
it's a great point. $1,200 is not super expensive. It has a great camera on it.
It does,
and
built in.
It's just it's a fabulous platform.
Yeah.
I need to buy one. I've never bought one.
I have their Inspire Pro, which is with the micro Four Thirds sensor. And that's so fun. That is a dream to fly. The responsiveness, the speed, the agility, ability.
Are they quick to learn?
That one.
Because I've been with you. I've got cuts on my arms using your drone.
Yeah,
which
that
I
was
talked to the drone guys. The guy said, "Don't ever do that.
Don't ever do
Don't
that.
ever
Why
catch
would you
the
do
drone."
that? JP, go catch it.
There they go. There go Heather. Oh, get it?
Well, that was the first model and bad batteries. That's a different story. This is the Inspire Pro has been a lovely experience. I've got some footage that just blows my mind. It blows my mind. There was you could see the backside of Yosemite Mountains.
Oh, wow.
And there was a stream with these like grassy fields leading up to the mountain range, and I was like low, and I did this perspective thing, and oh man, it just blew my mind.
And the park services don't mind you having a drone?
Of course they do.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, it was right off the side of the road. Are you kidding? I just got out and...
Well, that's with this guy who I know at Sammy's, who
Yeah.
does drones. He's really fabulous work. He said, you know what? I got it in a backpack. I stop, open, zip,
Get
zip,
out.
out.
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
like hit and run.
That's the great thing about drones is they've got, now a 4.5 mile range.
Yeah.
So you can be, 4 miles hiding kind of in this thing as long as you got an eye, but you can't see it 4.5 miles.
Police are
away.
going to come up with a special anti-drone shotgun.
I know. Yeah.
Take it out of the sky.
It's also called a shotgun. Yeah.
But it sounds so much cooler if it's an anti-drone shotgun.
Oh, this whole thing?
Oh, this whole thing?
Your tax dollars, just yeah.
It cost extra.
Yeah,
it's
extra.
$20,000.
We engraved anti-drone shotgun. Like Bill's in the back with a little etch-a-sketch. Yeah, it's fun. All right.
Okay, so going on. I saw a great ad for Microsoft Surface Studio.
Yeah.
It's a desktop, but
So
it was
cool.
shot with a thing. I think it's Kira is the
Kira?
device. Kira?
Yeah, sure.
It's a motorized camera arm, and so all those repeatable movements.
They've got a couple of them these days, and they're super cool.
This is a robotic arm,
yeah.
and it is just fabulous to
Yeah.
look. So you take a look at that ad. It's worth looking at the ad and looking at the BTS on how they shot it.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was really interesting. And they're also using lights on them, too. So they get this motorized sense of lighting, can move. And
the speculars kind of change throughout this thing.
Yep.
So yeah, the motorized stuff is cool. It's very expensive still. To rent, it's like $10,000.
Oh yeah, no, this is, you can tell this is a really expensive setup.
Oh,
this
yeah.
isn't.
'Cause it
this
comes
isn't
with its own
weekend,
engineers, and you have to spend hours and hours programming the moves and stuff.
Yeah.
But speaking of computers,
Yeah.
so they killed it on their release. Microsoft did. Apple, what have you been thinking about this thing? I'm really not impressed with this new MacBook Pro.
No one's talking about it. No one cares.
Well, the only people who are talking about it are going, this is not a Pro device.
Yeah.
You took out the HDMI, you took out the SDI, you took out USB.
No.
Yeah, it has USB-C, right? so it's Thunderbolt 3, USB-C. It's got 4 of those ports, and that is it. That's it.
No HDMI?
No HDMI. Look, the thing that makes my MacBook a Pro are those functionalities.
Sure.
The ability to not have a gaggle of dongles hanging off every side of my laptop, right? So that was huge for me. I'm just going, it took forever for Apple to put SD and HDMI in their computers, right? When they finally did, I used that stuff.
Oh, sure.
Sure.
Now they took 'em
as a
out.
pro person, I use that stuff all the time. So now you have to spend $50 every time you want to adapt something to a dongle.
Well, it's like the new 7. The phone doesn't come with the ability to plug in a headset.
No.
You have to use the little
an adapter.
The adapter, which is just the headset with the cords cut off from it. So it's these two little things that you're going to lose.
Bluetooth.
Yeah, your Bluetooth, and then you're like going, I don't know.
Yeah, that sucks. And then what's even
Steve
funnier?
Jobs, where are you?
What's funnier to me is that new iPhone 7, which was just released.
Just released.
You cannot plug into your new MacBook Pro without the use of an adapter.
Can't even update it.
Well, no, you have to get an adapter to then plug your phone into your computer. Isn't that crazy?
So what are they thinking? You're going to do it Bluetooth? You're going to do it?
No, I don't know.
They're not thinking.
Get an adapter, I suppose.
Get an adapter.
It's crazy. And then the new LED bar up top, I think is kind of maybe useful, a little bit maybe, but you put it in the wrong spot. It needs to come before the keyboard, I think. So your trackpad can recognize when your palm's on it, right? So it won't activate it. You just got to do the same thing with this thing so you can use the keyboard. But, when I'm in a pro software like Premiere, taking my eyes off the screen so that I can put my hand above the keyboard and then scroll or scrub through something is backwards.
Yeah.
I've got muscle memory in my fingers to hit hotkeys, so I never have to take my eyes off the screen. That improves my function, my ability. That improves my speed, and this new LED bar up top is useless to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong because I haven't played with it yet.
Oh, you know what? They said the trackpad down here was useless when it first came out.
Did they?
Oh, absolutely.
I love the trackpad.
Yeah, but your generation,
Yeah.
I got to where I'm used to it. I use it all the time. It's like it's a natural function. So maybe that will become that. It's just a matter of a different way to do things.
You can't call something a pro if it's for a consumer base.
Well, and why do they do that? That's what Apple's doing, is dumbing all their products down to
All
a
of them.
consumer base.
Right, and so call it a MacBook Plus and keep a pro option for your prosumers, or quit advertising your prosumers. This ad had a picture of a workstation with 2 matte monitors, right, which is also a pro thing that we miss very much.
We don't have monitors anymore.
And a red Epic sitting on the workstation with no media plugged in or anything, just a red Epic camera body by itself, which I thought was hysterical. I mean, it's just like, you missed, anyway.
So I need to buy a new workstation.
Okay.
I don't know what to buy right
It's
now.
tough.
Because I don't.
I still love the iMacs.
The iMacs are
27,
good.
they're so great.
The trash can is, I don't know.
Overpriced for what you're getting.
Yeah.
You're gonna get almost the same amount of performance out of your iMac, because you're not doing After Effects.
No.
You're not doing a lot of that.
Although Julie does photo retouching, so she needs tons of memory.
Yeah,
and
you get tons of memory for an iMac. You can get 64 gigs on an iMac.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what I think. Best bang for your buck. Screen's beautiful, built-in, 5K. So that's what I would do.
Well, there you have it. All right, so going on here. I just saw a rumor that was published that Canon has put a patent for focus peaking.
Great.
It's like, we're like complaining about everybody today.
I know.
Because I'm thinking to myself, oh, nice to see you're coming to the party. Put a focus peaking on the 5D Mark IV, you know?
Welcome to Photo Video Bad Trends.
Yes.
With JP and Lars.
That's right. Canon, it would be a really great idea to get some of those features that are on video cameras in the camera that people are using for video.
Oh, hey.
What a thought.
What a great idea.
I guess you'd have to also put 4K video on that camera, not in crop mode, but that's just another thought.
Okay.
Anyway.
Okay, yeah. Maybe do that too. Yeah.
Anyway. So what's the big news in video cameras?
We got an FS7 Mark II from Sony.
That's pretty interesting.
So as far as the software didn't really change much except for the functionality to record now in Rec 2020 color space, as opposed to Rec 709. That gets confusing. It's good. The bottom line is it's a good thing. It's going to make your post-process a little bit better for you. The color space is going to be better with your LUT kind of baked in. So 2020 color space is a great thing. So bigger. Go ahead.
It's got variable NDs on there, which are, and not the it's electronic NDs inside. So
with
you
a
can,
wheel, right?
Yeah.
So you can ramp up, ramp down. So I think the idea is
it will ramp for you. You set an aperture at f2.8. And as you move in and out, it ramps for you.
Interesting. So a lot of these
I don't know, who knows if that'll work, but
going into outdoor, you see it a lot in, like I even see it on HDTV. They go inside a house and all of a sudden you see a third of stop.
Yeah.
Click, 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 click. Or they're closing down the aperture. Sometimes I even see a full ND pop up in front. It's like, and they use the footage because they have to.
What else you can do? But this is going to ramp it for you automatically.
So you can keep your aperture.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Because it bums me out.
It's all electronic. It's no longer that knob. So.
Yeah, that's cool. So you still have, I assume, your built-in ND filters as well.
Well, it's all electronic and it's all built. I don't think it's an electronic version now.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the way I understood it when I looked.
You have a stronger mount now. So you have so rather than the twist lens on, you actually twist the mount, and it can.
It's more like a PL mount, only it twists backwards, is what they're saying.
Yeah. So that holds a lot
locks
better.
It in. So, but it's the E mount, right?
It's the E mount as well. Yep.
So if you're going to put your Canon lenses on it.
Yeah, you got to adapt anyway.
Yeah.
But
I heard at Photo Plus that the Metabones, well, it isn't a Metabones, the adapter that Sigma is doing is way better than the Metabones. They say it, especially for stills, it gives you a better transfer of your autofocusing.
Cool.
They
That's
say it's
welcome.
a better adapter all the way around. I have not tested. I want to get a hold of one and just see because I'm really curious. Because the Metabones on mine, on that Sony, I have to deconnect it and click it back into place every so often.
Yeah, it loses its contact or something. Yeah.
So I'm going to check that out, and something we'll talk about next month after I get one in my hands to see how it works. But.
Cool.
All right. So I just got back from New York, and we were at Photo Plus and had a great time there. A lot of great products, a lot of great instruction.
You got a daughter in New York?
I have a daughter in New York. She works for an ad agency in New York, and we had this conversation. I asked her, how many projects do you work on at this agency that are stills?
Yeah.
And she quoted a major client in the United States that everyone would know, and she said, Dad, they haven't done a still shoot in years. She said, they just do not do stills. She goes, what? There's no print outlet for it that makes any sense anymore. The magazines, they're doing more specialty kinds of things on social media. They're doing
more temporary stuff.
Yeah, it's all that. She goes, it just isn't there. And I'm going, what does that mean for still photography and in advertising? And she said it's a dying market in the advertising world, And there's different ways to, I don't know. I want to research this more and kind of get a better feel of where it's at. But you know what? People have been saying this for a while. I just bumped into the head of the photo department at Art Center College of Design at Photo Plus. Yeah. And he goes, so how's it going? And he goes, everyone keeps telling me stills are dead. And agencies are not shooting still projects like they used to. You're seeing still work is more in weddings and more specialized kinds of markets.
We see a lot of portrait stuff.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So
Weddings and
everybody needs,
portraits.
because turnover on these companies is so high. It's crazy.
You're talking about corporate portrait?
Corporate
Yeah,
portrait,
absolutely,
you
those
see a
kinds
lot
of things.
of.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's more not advertising as much. There's some editorial, but not a lot. Editorial is just crushed. It's kind of collapsed. But
and I did this a shoot for a lot of makeup companies for a minute, and we talked about doing stills for their products, and the director came over to me and he said, "Don't spend too much time on this." And I was like, "Oh, really? Like, you don't want it to?" He goes, "Look, they've got a library of all these products that are great. We're going to drop them into After Effects, add a lens flare, give it some rotation, and we're good to go." So I'd say maybe they just have libraries now. Because anytime I've done projects where I needed material, they say, "Here's log in to our library. There you go. There's all our products. You can pull any stills you want."
Yeah.
And so they've got these libraries now that are maybe 2, 4, 5, 10 years old, and they're just pulling from that. It's the same old thing. So it's interesting.
Well, it's young companies who have need new product photography.
Yeah.
So there is work in product photography.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's an interesting topic we should talk more about.
Yeah.
You know, what's the future of stills as far
Sure.
as in advertising? I think there's a place for it. I think you see it in a lot of applications, whether it's apartment buildings, people are shooting real estate kinds of work. They're doing headshots. It's amazing to me how big headshots got all of a sudden.
Really?
Peter Hurley starts his headshot crew, and all of a sudden there's people all over the world doing headshots. And in our business coaching class, we got all kinds of people who are making money doing headshots. You know? It's like, we're going to take all those people who are trying to make $1 billion in film, and we're going to charge them money to get a nice photograph.
There you go.
It's like, it's a tough industry.
It is a tough industry. Welcome.
So there you
Glad
go.
you're here. Yeah.
Yep. So going on, you had some interesting
Yeah,
audio things.
Adobe's working on a piece of software right now. I think it's more kind of like in development and spec, working with Princeton University, called Voco.
Voco?
Voco, V-O-C-O. And basically what it does is it takes a sample of a person's voice, so let's say I'm talking right here, and it's gathering a sample of my audio, and creates a profile that then I can write text into a computer, and it will repeat that text.
With your voice.
With my voice, which to me seems like pure Harry Potter, like magic stuff to me. I like this, like that doesn't make any sense.
But can you get the right inflection? Angry line, you know?
My voice is going to sound like this for the rest of my life every time I need to talk now. It's like that's what I'm wondering. Like, so yeah, like it's got the raspiness or the whatever, like,
but it still feels mechanical.
Frequencies of my voice. But is it going to be able to do this? And then do this. I don't know.
You know, it's interesting because I used to say, we've got all this CGI stuff, and we can take all the films that John Wayne was in, and we can now put John Wayne in a new film.
Yeah.
And you know what was interesting about that?
What?
No one cared. We don't care about John Wayne.
Until
we don't want to see John Wayne.
Not John Wayne. But it has become very useful a few times for postpartum death.
Yes.
So you got Philip Seymour Hoffman that was in a trilogy. It was like a 4-movie thing, right? Yeah. So four movies, Mockingjay or whatever, the Hunger Games.
Paul Walker.
Paul Walker
passed away
in the Fast and the Furious, right? But they were able to use his brother.
Yeah.
Which is a bummer. But yeah, and a couple times where they needed this face, and they're like, okay, well, we've got this technology.
Yeah.
Let's
so
use
that
it.
is interesting. So
Yeah.
I would guess the voice thing. I mean, can you imagine if you're shooting a commercial and you miss a line or you miss a couple of words? That would be fabulous.
If you're doing a 30-second commercial and you miss a line, you probably shouldn't be doing 30-second commercials. That's my thought. But yeah, you're right.
But you know what?
Yeah.
That's not it though. The agency calls up and says, you know what? The client says we got to say
legal just got back to us, and we can't actually say.
Yes, that happens all the time.
Lame.
Man.
We can't say lame in a commercial. It's legal. It's not us. The agency was fine. And you go, oh, okay, we'll replace it with cool guy.
Yeah. Do you know how hard it is to do ADR? I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, if you could do the lines and then move them around and
just an over the shoulder.
Yeah, exactly. Shoot everything over the shoulder.
You're such a cool guy.
Don't ever change, Jim.
So yeah, it might be neat. It might be neat software. I'm interested to see where it goes.
There'll be some application.
Oh, sure, for sure.
Cool. All right, what else you got?
So there's MōVI, So
Yeah.
remember when we talked, MōVI first came out with their MōVI Pro, and it was $15,000.
$15,000.
Someone else from China is going to develop this thing, and it happened a million times. And I mean, MōVI's adapted. They came out with the smaller MōVI, which was $5,000, and now they've got the MōVI Pro, which is a self-enclosed, cage, and they've got rid of all the cables. They've got like this, like it's all about speed, right? So they want you to, in a matter of 2 to 3 minutes, be up and running with your MōVI.
Boy, that's a nice thought.
Yeah, so that's great. Also, they've got a built-in stand on this thing. So when you go to put it on the ground, it's got these little kickstand things that just like sets down and you're good to go. So you can shoot. I'm tired, take a break, and we're ready to go. It's there, okay, everybody's good, the camera's rolling, and pick up and go, right? So it's completely from the engineers that created the thing in the first place. They said, okay, what works, what doesn't work, and they've tried to address a lot of those issues. So it's about $6,500, so it's still expensive.
Still pretty expensive, $6,500.
But they've come a long way from 15.
Would you get that versus a
Glide cam?
Which I saw at the last game of the World Series. You got all these guys celebrating they won, and here comes some guy with a DSLR with a glide cam.
Yeah, I say
how'd that dude get in there?
I say that's like somebody's brother that like works for a media company and was like, I can get you in, man. That's what I think.
You think so?
I think so. But I don't know. There is, for me personally, I would probably end up getting the DJI over the MōVI Pro just for price factors alone. I mean, for $2,000, I can get into that world, and $6,500. That's real pro. That's I'm taking this thing out on a rental every time, and that's just not. I mean, I'm a DP primarily, and I own gear, but that's just not, I don't think, an application for me. So.
All right, well, I got one last thing here, unless you have something else.
No, that's it for me.
I just think it's interesting, the A6300 and the A6500.
Really cool walk-around cameras.
Great walk-around cameras. My daughter asked me, "What if I want to just do street photography in New York, what would you buy?" I think the A6500 is a great camera.
Yeah.
It's just, you've got to put a small lens on there, and it's a great pocket camera. Be able to get a decent, it's got Wi-Fi, so if you want to, transfer these to your phone and send them out, you can have just easy access to get the images to where you want them to go.
So differences between the A6300, which came out about 8 months ago, and the A6500.
Well, for one, the A6500 has the 5-axis stabilization.
Which is big. Because they claim how many stops? 2 stops? Lighting difference on that? I don't think it says here. But you're right. So because you've got this like stabilizer, you'll be able to lower your shutter speed.
Oh, I see what you're talking about. When you said stops, I think about exposure.
Oh, right.
Yeah, no, you can shoot at a much slower shutter speed. Not that you should, but you can.
Right.
And it gives you that option.
So
and you're going to hand hold
So
better.
you'll get a stop, maybe a stop and a half more in a pinch if you need to.
You can go down to 30th of a second, 30th of a second you can probably pull off.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so, for sure.
So that's really nice. It's a touch screen as well, right?
Yeah, touch screen. So those are the 2 major differences from what I can tell. And so touchscreen with video mode, you'll be able to set focus points, which is kind of cool. Touch between focus. Yeah, I would say only if you're on a tripod. I wouldn't.
Yeah, you don't want to be
trying to handhold that, and you're going to shake that and get a lot of jiggle. But
I just think for the slanted lens, we may pick up one of the A6500 as a BTS camera. Just a simple thing you can throw in your pocket and do some BTS.
You got some A7R2s, and yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yep.
Awesome.
So it's just a great setup, but. So those 2 cameras, I think really, some people say you can cut them with the A7R2, the video, which I'm sure you could.
Sure.
I mean, it would look fine. It's not as large a sensor by any means, but in some of the sampling, they say it's larger than 4K, and then they sample it back to 4K.
Oh, wow.
That's at least that's what, when I was up there with the Sony guys, that's what they were telling me.
Great.
So great 2 cameras. Take a look at those. I mean, really, quite frankly, the A6300, price point wise now, is about $1,000. I mean, it's pretty hard to resist $1,000.
And 65 is what? 14, 1500?
I think it's 14 or 1500. Yeah. So right in there. So I mean, as walk around, it kind of becomes a poor man's Leica.
Yeah.
That kind of pocket camera you can take quick pictures with.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just a great.
Real poor man's Leica.
A really, really poor man's Leica.
Yeah. If you're tired of spending $10,000 for the same thing, just buy the Sony.
Okay, so I have to say this. At Photo Plus, I was most excited about. Do you know what I was most excited about?
Probably like some adapter or something.
Well, kind of. The Hasselblad has a back now that just goes on my old C500 or my ELM Hasselblad, my old camera.
Yeah.
And it is $10,000, which is not cheap.
But if you can take your existing Hasselblad medium format,
I have 2 Hasselblads. I have a whole case of lenses that go on my Hasselblad, 40 millimeters. I have everything.
80, 120,
Yeah.
200. He's got it.
I wish I had a 200.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Getting a little excited there.
Yeah, all right.
But it's a gorgeous image because you got this huge sensor on the back.
How do you like the format though? The square format.
You know what? You crop it into a horizontal.
Get whatever you want.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. But so for doing, that's the one thing about Hasselblad always drove me crazy when I shoot. I would put tape on the finder, you know, the viewfinder, so I couldn't see anything other than the horizontal because I'm shooting a horizontal or a vertical, and it would drive me crazy looking at that square because you start designing the square.
Yeah.
You know, you can't see the limitations of the horizontal.
Yeah.
So I would do the same thing in this, and you could, and I didn't look at it long enough. Maybe it has the ability to just give you that crop factor. I would guess it would. It's a sensor. Why would they not give you that, that capability? But I thought for $10,000, all my old cameras are back in. I can do huge, gorgeous landscapes with them.
Is that a new thing? I don't feel like that's a new thing.
Maybe it's not that new, but I was pretty excited about it when I saw it.
Yeah. Maybe you should get one. That'd be fun, man.
I talked to Hasselblad about that, and I'm going to work on that thought.
Yeah. All right.
So
cool. Very cool.
Of course, they have their new kind of mirrorless camera.
Yes, they do.
That's not very cheap at all.
It's like $30,000-$40,000.
I looked at that. It was really cool.
Yeah.
But really out there.
Yeah.
So remember, to keep us doing this show, you got to go and look at our affiliate links, both with B&H and with Amazon. And
if you want
things we talked about,
buy GoPro Karma and then send it back.
Get right over there and buy your Karma.
Do it through our affiliate.
Absolutely. If you're gonna get a DJI, do it through our affiliate. Support the show. It'll help keep us on the keep us on the air. So, also we have the podcast.
Yeah, listen.
Do we still have the podcast?
Do we still have a podcast?
Yes, we have the podcast.
Yeah, listen to the podcast. This is embarrassing. You're gonna think this is embarrassing.
Okay.
I listen to the podcast.
Really?
Yeah. I just wanna listen back and just see if I said anything really stupid. I always say stupid stuff, but I just want to make sure I don't say anything like blatantly wrong. And
that's
stupid.
why
Sometimes
I don't look back, because I know I said stupid stuff.
Yeah. I just want to. I don't know. So sometimes I subscribe to the podcast. So should you.
There you go. Subscribe to that podcast.
Man, they're the best.
Leave us some comments.
Yeah.
We need a secret word again. We haven't had a secret word in forever.
For a year, we haven't a secret word. Gourd. Warty gourd.
Warty gourd. But you got to use it in your comment.
Yeah.
In relationship to camera.
Yeah.
That camera with the warty gourd.
If you can implement somehow warty gourd into the comments and do it like seamlessly and relevant, then you'll win this month's competition.
When photographing a warty gourd, one would want a 40 megapixel camera.
Yeah, well, at least.
At least.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of warty gourd to feel that.
Right. It's the contour, right? It's the way the gourd
How would one light a warty gourd?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm curious.
We should do a lesson on that. How to light a warty gourd.
Do a soft, large source to fill in the gourdies, or do you want those to really pop?
Popping warty gourdies.
Popping warty gourdies.
We digress in a major sort of way. Our business coaching class is going on every single day. People are using those materials to change the direction of their businesses and to grow their businesses. So get to theslantlens.com and sign up for our business coaching class. Once a month, you get to speak with me. We'll talk about the problems that you're facing. We have the opportunity to mentor together to help you grow your business. So go to theslantlens.com and sign up for it today. Hi, this is JP Morgan.
And Lars Lindstrom.
And it's time for questions and
answers
on photo video trends. So,
it's like we rehearsed that.
It is, just like we did. So we'll take out our questions that just happened to arrive a few minutes ago in our Pink Flamingo mailbox. Email box.
It's Isaac Splinker.
All right, Isaac.
Splinker. All right. Isaac said, thanks for all this info, man. Love your channel. I was wondering which computer would you recommend for editing and grading 4K if you have some options. That would be great. Thanks in advance.
Kind of talked about this in the last segments a little bit.
Depends on if you want to be mobile or at a desktop. Let's say if you want to be mobile.
I still think you have to get a Mac.
You got to get it. Well, that's, yeah. I mean, this is just, I'm so biased.
I know.
Like, I don't even know Windows 10. Like,
the learning curve would be.
If you told me to open up and say, okay, now drag and drop this footage, I'd go.
That's just, you got to get a Mac.
So
I think you get a Mac laptop just because, and you put it on a dock where you can plug it into a bigger monitor to work on. I do that. I can take it on the run. It's just so easy. And I see Kenneth, and I see you, and I see Kate. Everyone's editing on the laptop.
Love it, man.
So.
I get 9 hours battery still on that laptop.
9 hours, really?
Yeah. If I'm editing, I'll probably get about 5.5 or 6.
Yeah.
But I mean the battery life is phenomenal. Processing's phenomenal.
Here's my recommendation. If you're doing this, buy a MacBook Pro, not this current one. The one before.
Yes.
Buy it used.
Yeah.
Those things, I have every MacBook we have ever bought, so there's like 5 or 6 of them around here. They all still work. One runs our prompter, one runs, so it's like they're not going to break.
The one's like 7 years old, 8 years old.
So, or get a refurbished old one through Apple.
I'd get a used
Get
one.
on Craigslist.
Get
a
on
used
Craigslist.
One.
Yeah.
It'll save you some money, and then trick it out. Get great memory in it, and get ready to go.
Yeah. If you're getting a desktop, iMac 5K is still a wonderful, wonderful desktop.
Yep.
Get that.
Okay.
All right.
CIF cap.
Yeah.
Great subject matter. I look forward to the next installment. A question on the lights. Are those ICANN LED Fresnels? Actually, I think on set we were at the YouTube space, and we'd had these Zoom LEDs we were using, and we also were using some of the just the old Aries lights that they had there when we shot this. So, I tell you, if you're looking for LEDs that have pretty good punch, there's some great ones by ICANN. There's some great ones by Aperture. Both those companies have some great LEDs to take a look at. So check those out.
Okay.
Okay, so from our lesson, the Ursa Mini versus the Alexa, Jose Splinker says, great comparison review. I did love it. By the way, what are the best rig and gimbal that work with this camera on a budget?
Ooh, I don't know. I think it's gonna have to be like the Ronin X.
Yeah.
Or like the bigger one, not the MX. The
Do you
Ronin.
think it needs to be the bigger one?
Ronin M, right? It has to be the bigger one because the camera body's bigger, right?
Well, it will go on the one I've got.
The MX?
MX, yeah.
It'll go on the MX?
I think it will. I didn't try to put it on there, so I don't know. I guess the bottom line is we're not sure.
We're not sure.
Ergonomically, that camera, you don't need a rig with that camera because if you put the viewfinder, the EVF on it, and you've got a handle inside, it's made
for handheld. But he's talking about he's looking for those sweeping, steady shots. You need a rig.
You do.
Yeah. I get it. I think for sure though it's going to be the bigger Ronin.
Yeah.
I think for sure.
So he's going to have to get in at like $5,000.
They're not quite that much.
$3,000, $3,500.
Yeah, $3,500. So, yep, I think that's it. Isaac, again, Splinker. Thank you, Isaac. We love your comments. Love your videos, man. They're full of energy. I have been debating on getting a 4K camera, but I want it to have some things. Slow motion capabilities, okay? Easy to adapt from low light to bright light. Good dynamic range, low light capability. So far, I'm seeing Sony.
I'm hearing
Easy to mount into rigs and gimbals, etc. And this is adaptable to EF lenses or PL lenses and pro audio capability. Now my budget is good, so I don't mind spending a lot. It's the FS7.
It's the FS7 II.
FS7. That's it.
Absolutely.
So it's about $8,500. And
no, it's 10.
Is it 10?
I think it's 10. The FS7 II.
Oh, the Mark II. Right? Yes.
The 2.
Get the 2.
Get the 2.
Especially because now you have this this different lens mount, so you'll be able to adapt to bigger PL mount lenses with the right adapter, and you'll be able to hold a little bit stronger.
Do you think he's a Sony guy and he set us up?
Probably.
Because everything on there, I'm going FS7, Sony.
But yeah, for sure. And I would say much over the Canon C300 Mark II, which I love. I really do love the camera for its dynamic range. I love the skin tone quality on it. I'm getting more and more that camera to look like my Alexa than any other camera I've worked with.
The C300 Mark II, yeah.
I have. But, I mean, yeah, low light, good dynamic range.
So what are you doing to get it to look more and more like the Alexa?
I just shoot with they released a newer update for their C-Log 2. So it's the algorithm on that light curve just matches the S-Log coming out of the Alexa. And so when I can drop my Alexa LUT that I have on my Canon footage, and it almost looks the same, right? So the highlights do not hold. They do not hold like Alexa. And I'm talking the last stop and a half does not hold like Alexa.
Yeah, we saw that in the tests that we did.
But for the most part, man, I'm really, really happy.
But you still have a great, Actually, the C300 didn't look as good as the FS7 when it came to that dynamic range. You had a much longer dynamic range.
In the FS7? Yeah. There were I watched the test.
Versus C-Log.
And there were, I appreciated the skin tone on the C300 a lot more. I saw a lot more green. and kind of an orangey, yellowy color in the Sony camera.
Yeah.
That I didn't see.
Which has been my complaint with Sony's in general.
It was a softer pink, I think, in the C300 that I thought was just a lot more pleasing for her skin tone. So anyway.
Okay, so going on. Canon 5D. This is the 5D versus the Sony A7R II. Mohammed Ahmed. What can someone explain to me why the Sony went noisy at ISO 800 when it was underexposed? I thought in photography noise increases when you turn up ISO. I think he's confusing higher ISO. This is an underexposed image. You're shooting it at a stop under what it really the meter says it wants, or 2 stops under what it wants,
and then bringing it back
up in the editing process. So you're underexposing by stop, underexposing by 2 stop. That's what the test was: is how far can you miss the exposure, and still make the footage usable?
No matter the ISO, even if you're shooting at 400, 200, 100, whatever, if you underexpose an image and bring it up, you're amplifying, and you're essentially doubling the ISO every step you bring up, because it's an amplification process at that point.
So, and when we do these tests, I'm always going, well, just expose it correctly, for crying out loud.
Of course you are.
Yeah.
You came from a world where if you were a third of the stop off,
oh, at the most, yeah. So anyway, that's why you're seeing what you're seeing.
Cool. Christoph Salton said, "Nice test, but I don't really understand why you overexposed Canon shot so much for testing dynamic range. Just after testing it is far better to underexpose picture with the Mark IV. And other fact that you compared Sony S-Log to the fake C-Log when it obviously is far worse profile than neutral. 5D Mark IV has dynamic range of 13.6 and the A7R has 13.9. They should be comparable when this test would be done correctly."
There was the problem on that test. If we should have shot the Sony in crop mode compared to the 5D Mark IV in crop mode. We should have done that. We did not do that.
Because you did 4K?
We did 4K, and we put an aftermarket log on the Mark IV to try to make it compare to S-Log.
Interesting. Which aftermarket?
I can't remember what it was called. No, I don't remember.
Okay.
It's on the video. If you go back to the video, see it. Yeah. So I think there's some things about that test that could have been done to make it a little clearer, and I think your comment is probably spot on. But I didn't get the sense that the Mark IV has the exact same dynamic range as the A7R II, but maybe the test just didn't bear that out. I mean, maybe if we had done it differently, we would see that, but I didn't get the sense that that's the case.
My question is, how can they claim it has a 13.6 stop dynamic range when neutral is their flattest color profile?
I don't see that's the case, but
that seems crazy to me.
They don't even have a C-Log, and it's not capable of
C-Log
capability. So I'm not sure how you see that in there, but anyway. Day to night, time-lapse photography. So this is Jepsio. I'm a bit confused here. When do you know it's day to dusk and dusk to night? When the sun is up and the sun goes down, that's, for me, you now get into that time that you're starting into just very soft, no direct sunlight any longer. Mm-hmm. That's dusk.
But you still have quite a bit of ambient.
But you still have a lot of ambient to work with, and but your exposure is going to drop significantly because your sun's gone now.
It'll go from like an f32 to an f8.
Yeah. So I sometimes I'll do these in 3 steps. I'll do sunlight to dusk, dusk to when I see the first star, and then stars into deep night.
Okay.
But you can do 2. But just dusk is that time. It's my favorite time to shoot. It's when the sun is down and there's ambient. It's a time when your ambient lights are going to match your exposure better.
Yeah.
It looks
I love turning
gorgeous.
around from sunset. Yeah. Turning around from sunset, and you'll always have more like highlight in the person's eyes, and the background's always darker. It's like you just get subjects that just stand out. That's if you just turn around. And everybody, the thought is to shoot into the sunset, and if there are clouds, it can be really beautiful to do that. But when you turn around, the light, to me, is just like, that's when it's just optimal. Because you'll always get these beautiful catch lights because that horizon's going to be brighter.
It's beautiful in the eyes.
And the background's going to be darker. Yeah, love that.
Well, he goes on to say, so if the sun is near the horizon, I need to switch to ISO 1600 aperture and f4 and interval 4 seconds. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then when the light is gone, I need to switch to manual. Sorry for bothering. So if you're watching the sun go down in a time lapse, you're going to want to leave it. I would leave it on one of the either aperture priority, or I would put it on aperture priority, and then just let the sun go. And then as soon as it breaks over the horizon, then you got to reset your settings because it's going to change drastically at that point.
Cool.
So I don't know your exact settings here. 1600, watching the sun go down at 1600 ISO f4 doesn't sound right to me at all.
No.
It's way too hot. I would guess you're more like...
So he's saying switch to 1600 after the sun goes down.
Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, that makes more sense. Yep.
Yeah. Julio Molina said, does the Baja B4 work in high-speed sync and TTL at the same time? Just want to know so I can help someone with this.
The Baja works in HSS, high-speed sync, but does not work in TTL. It's not a TTL flash.
Gotcha. Great.
So it's high-speed sync. David Ling. Ling?
Ling, yeah.
What's your opinion of the Sony Ultra 4K cine lenses? I'm back and forth between a set of those versus waiting and seeing the prices for the Sigmas. This is Lars.
The Sony cine lenses, for some reason, didn't do very well.
They did not.
And it wasn't because
They're not expensive.
They're not expensive. They have two versions. They have the plastic version, which you can get for $1,000 a piece. It's so cheap. And then they have the metal, nicer version, which is the same glass, just in a better housing, which is still not very expensive. It's like $2,300 a lens, something like that. For a cine lens, it's actually not bad. Here's my thought. Wait till the Sigma lenses come out. Just wait. And I would rent both of them and do your own comparison, because I think they're going to be pretty close. People love those Sigma still lenses. They love them. So it's the same optics, the Art series, but you're going to have all the advantages now that a cine housing brings. So I would wait till that comes out. Rent them. Maybe get the CP2s rented as well. Just go on ShareGrid. You can get this stuff for pretty cheap. Just do a day of testing before you make a big purchase decision like that. That's what I would do.
So if we did a comparison,
that's a great idea.
Should we do the what would we compare? The Sony and the Sigma?
Sony Sigma and throw in some CP2s too.
CP2s, yeah. Okay.
I think that's a valuable comparison for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. So there's photo video trends for the month of November. Now there's something we have to bring up.
Two things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First off, comments.
Yeah, we want to know what cameras you're shooting on and if you're doing photo or video application.
Yes.
Or a combo of the two, right? So in the comments, tell us what camera, still or video camera you're using, and what application you're using it more for. Be really great. And
that'll give us a good idea of who's out there and what's going on. Yeah. And next month, which would be December, the second Thursday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we're going to do this show live.
Whew.
Live in studio, both on Facebook and on YouTube.
Oh, man.
So it should be kind of scary,
yeah.
I would guess.
Yeah.
And,
so we've never done it live. We've got 3 cameras in here, and we don't do a ton of editing, but we say some stupid stuff every once in a while.
Yes.
So there will be more us pulling our phones out and actually like double checking our information. So if you guys are okay with that.
What sensor is that again?
Yeah, I don't know. Was that a full frame or a crop sensor? An APS, what do they call it?
But we will be live, so when we hit a stump like that, call in and correct us. Help us.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Or comment. Just say,
hit a comment.
nah, you guys are idiots. That's not actually true at all.
Which we'll hear that a lot, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So
great.
So anyway, we look forward to being this with you next month, live at 3 p.m. Also, spend all your hard-earned dollars on photo video equipment with our affiliate links for no other reason than it gives Lars and I a little bit of McDonald's money.
Yeah, that's honestly all it will
That's
do.
about all it'll do. But at least it gets us to McDonald's, so we have something to eat when the show is over.
Those sausage egg McMuffins,
pretty nice.
You can get 2 for $4.
2 for $4.
We should have an affiliate link to McDonald's.
We should.
Because that's delicious.
There's the place that everyone goes, McDonald's. Dim sum at McDonald's.
Thanks, guys.
All right, keep those cameras rolling.
Keep on clicking.
It's November, time to be thankful. We're thankful that Syrup is going to give away a $1,266 setup here. The short track of the genie and the ball head and the cable. All goes in a great bag. Go over to theslantlens.com and sign up. Maybe you'll win and you'll be thankful.
We need to do thumbnails.
Oh. Let's hold the big pumpkin, the little pumpkin.
Okay. What happened?